With Konoha saved from the destructive forces of the Sand and the Sound Village, while there was cause for great rejoice and victory, there was also sorrow and loss, particularly for the shinobi that had been killed in the invasion, as well as the death of Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage. A funeral service was soon held for him, and shortly after, the rebuild would begin. Darui and the fellow shinobi of the Cloud Village would return back from where they came. Of course, it was a small gesture, but they would be given a token of friendship, and the Raikage would be informed that their bond with the Leaf Village had only grown from this, due to their courage and their sacrifice, because they were willing to fight on behalf of their village, despite having no tie, affiliation, or responsibility. And for Darui, he promised that the mends between their villages would continue, and that hopefully it could lead to a continuous and a peaceful future. Of course, the big elephant in the room was Naruto. How are they even going to address him being brought back to life? Thankfully, Jiraiya was quick-witted, and he chose to spin a tale. After all, he was a famed author, so throwing in a plot twist here and there never went amiss. The tale they chose to spin was that Naruto had been kept hidden away as a safety precaution in case something like this were to have happened. Of course, there were finer details that many might have asked, but this was the roundabout answer that was given, especially considering that a funeral was held in his stead. But with Naruto being alive, there came newfound status and celebrity of sort. For one, the secret was out, and everyone knew that Naruto was the son of the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, as well as being the son of the former Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, Kushina Uzumaki. As Naruto would walk about through the village helping with reconstruction via his skill in wood release, many people would be yelling, waving, and shaking hands with Naruto, who was now seen as a hero to the village, who helped defend it from the villainous One-Tails Jinchuriki. But of course, even with this new fame and celebrity, Naruto didn't allow it to go to his head. It wasn't like it ever really mattered to him to begin with. But as far as Naruto's friends were concerned, they wanted to know everything that happened, and Naruto had a lot to tell them. First and foremost, he got a chance to meet the person that replaced him on the team, Tatsu Yamashiro. Of course, Naruto would give his condolences for the death of her grandfather Mifune, and Tatsu was thankful for the kind words. Naruto, using his wood release, would create a special coffin for Mifune. It would be easy to travel with when they took him back to his homeland to be buried properly. But with all of Team 7, Kakashi, and Jiraiya, Naruto would explain everything that happened following his death in the Land of Waves. He would tell them all about Kodama, the Swamp Thing, the Zero-Tails creature that had been sealed inside of him, the origins of Kodama, as well as the other tailed beasts, and that they had names. He also told them about the night of his birth, and of the masked man that attacked. Of course, Kakashi was even more taken aback when he learned that it was Obito who was responsible. At first, he couldn't believe it. It didn't even seem possible. It couldn't have been real. And yet at the same time, with the details that Naruto had given, it led to the worst possible outcome. Obito Uchiha was still out there somewhere. This caught Sasuke's interest as well. Yet another Uchiha. An Uchiha who was responsible for the Nine Tails attack. The attack that caused the village so much harm. the attack that caused his clan to be ostracized. It was at the hands of a rogue Uchiha. Of course, Sasuke had not lost his path of revenge, not against Itachi. And yet, at the same time, there was a newfound flame that was burning within him. Whoever this Obito was, he had to be brought to justice as well. Now Jiraiya would step into the fray, because with all this information, on top of what he had learned, perhaps things were starting to come together now. Jiraiya would tell them of an organization called the Akatsuki, who were rumored to be in the hunt for the tailed beast. And this organization was founded, at least by his calculations, just shortly after the Nine Tails incident. That couldn't be a coincidence at all. Of course, for Kakashi, he didn't even want to think of this being the worst case scenario, but now it seemed to be. If Obito and the Akatsuki were connected, then that meant that Obito had founded the Akatsuki and that he had formed a terrorist cell of rogue shinobi to go after and hunt the tailed beast. Jiraiya would warn them that these were dangerous times, and they had to tread carefully. Of course, what had been spoken here would be an S-class secret. Kakashi and Jiraiya would have to act accordingly. They couldn't let this information just be leaked out to just anyone. They actually held the advantage, because as of now, the Akatsuki have no way of knowing that they know. If Obito wants to go around and pretend to be Madara Uchiha, then that's fine. They will allow him to play his game. But they now had the upper hand, and Kakashi would be the key. When Kakashi asked why, Jiraiya would explain that he had the Sharingan of Obito Uchiha. That meant that the two of them were linked together. They could perhaps use that link to track down Obito and by extension the Akatsuki. They could take out the Akatsuki in one fell swoop, but it would take time. They'd have to be prepared. If Obito was as powerful as he was back then, he'd only gotten stronger since. And there was no telling who else could have drawn into the Akatsuki by now. There were rogue shinobi from all of the ninja nations gathered together. Even Orochimaru was once a former member. And speaking of which, with the death of Orochimaru, with his soul being sealed away inside of the belly of the Reaper Death God, another change had transpired, and that came in the form of Sasuke. The curse mark, to be specific, the one on his neck. When Orochimaru had been sealed, Sasuke felt a great deal of pain on that curse mark, but it didn't disappear. Steam had begun to bellow from his neck shortly after. At first, Sasuke was worried that the curse mark was being active. It was painful, but the pain was quickly felt by a sighing relief as the curse mark changed from black to white. Jiraiya would investigate the curse mark even further. It hadn't left Sasuke, but the negative aura around it was gone, as if the influence of Orochimaru no longer existed. At least from what Jiraiya could have examined, the curse mark had turned more so into a dud than anything else. It could be activated, but Orochimaru's influence had been removed from it. A similar phenomenon had happened to those who were in the custody of the Hidden Leaf, specifically the Sound Four. They also felt excruciating pain, but then again, the curse mark had transformed from black to white. They were currently being detained and interrogated by Ibiki, but for now, it seemed as though Orochimaru's influence upon them had been released. Jiraiya still had plans on investigating more about Orochimaru to learn the full depths of everything he had discovered, because still, Kabuto was on the loose. another end thread that had to be cut off. But at least they were on the right track. And then there was the pressing matter of determining who would be the next Hokage. Of course, the village elders had still suggested that Jiraiya take the position. And for Jiraiya, he felt more inclined to accept. For the longest time, he had been after Orochimaru, and there was still more that he had learned about the Akatsuki. His spy agency that allowed him to travel all around the world, gathering intel for the interest of the Hidden Leaf, wasn't something that he could just pass up. But a lot of factors had changed. There was this training of Corey, and now Naruto being brought back into the scene, as if the universe had gifted him a second chance to right his wrongs when it came to the child of Minato and Kushina. It was something he couldn't ignore. So, of course, he knew he'd have to tread carefully. But for now, he would give them a different compromise. He would ask them if he could bring back Tsunade, one of the other Sannin. She could also be just as capable. Together, they would make an informed decision as to who would take the Hokage title. Both of the village elders would agree to this, believing that between the two of them, one of them would have to be justified. And if not, then they knew of a certain someone who was ready to take the throne, if necessary, in a way of speaking. Jiraiya would then inform Corey and Naruto and everyone else as to what his plans were, and that he wanted to take the both of them along for a little training exercise along the way. For Sasuke, he was going to stay in the Leaf Village with Kakashi, and for Tatsu, well, she still had some other things to take care of before heading back to the Land of Iron. So for now, she would stay in the village. However, shortly after Jiraiya and Corey and Naruto departed, a trio of black-robed and red-cloud shinobi would stealthily make their way into the village. For one of them, it was home, or at least it used to be. So, do you believe that the rumors are true about Orochimaru? It seems so. Deidara and Sasori are going to be pissed. They wanted to take a crack at the damn snake. But still, the third member would say, it's probably for the best. A loose end that's been thwarted, and we didn't even have to get involved. For now, we should stay focused on the task at hand, finding the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. As the three cloaked ninja would make their way through the leaf, they would soon be detected by Kakashi, who, similarly to in the original timeline, would send both Asuma and Kurenai to engage. The three in question: Itachi Uchiha, Kisame Hoshigaki, and a third member, their newest recruit, Haku of the Frozen Mist. The three members of the Akatsuki joined together in unison and in their hunt for the Nine-Tails. But why had Haku joined the Akatsuki? Following the event in the Land of Waves, an event that saw many changes from its original timeline, including seeing that of Kisame getting involved. When Zabuza died, a part of Haku did as well. The part that was a kind and loving boy had simply been replaced with that of a scorned soul who had lost his reason for living. Kisame, wanting to do right by the former protege of a fellow swordsman of the mist, took Haku under his wing, and after displaying what he was capable of, Kisame would personally be put in charge of training him, and Haku would be brought into the Akatsuki. Of course, it meant that for Itachi, he had to be kept on his toes at all times, especially when the three engaged with Asuma, Kurenai, and Kakashi. Just as in the original timeline, the Akatsuki would engage with the Leaf Shinobi, only this time the 2-on-3 became a 3-on-3, which ultimately did not change the outcome, as Itachi would cast Tsukuyomi on Kakashi, breaking his mind for 72 hours in the Tsukuyomi Genjutsu, displaying the power of the Mangekyo, breaking down Kakashi's psyche and forcing him into a near catatonic state. It was only through the efforts of Might Guy and his arrival that Itachi would band for the retreat, as they would continue their search for Corey and Naruto. For Naruto, now that he was back in the world of the living, he found himself being more acclimated to his old and new relationships. For one, Corey seemed to always be looking at him, yet whenever he looked back, the girl always had her eyes drifting elsewhere. But at least from what he could feel, it was like the girl couldn't stop looking at him, as if her eyes were devouring his every movement. And then there was Jiraiya. Unlike in the original timeline, where not much would change here, regarding Jiraiya and his personal taste in women and things of that nature, Jiraiya also felt as though he owed a great debt to Minato. He wanted to take things more serious with Naruto and his training. The coming trials ahead were going to be difficult. He was going to have to make sure that Naruto was trained inside and out, that he'd have every advantage at his disposal. Unlike many other Jinchurikis in the world, Naruto technically had a good relationship with his tailed beast, if you could call it that, but still, just because they were on a good relationship terms, it didn't mean that Naruto was just as unstoppable as anyone could have imagined. Even the power that he had borrowed temporarily took a lot out of him. He was going to have to buff himself up, master his own basics, before he could master the power of Kodama. For now, they would stop at a local village, a smaller one, akin to that of a shopping district, if you will. Jiraiya had some things to attend to, that being in the form of a lovely woman that crossed his path. Meanwhile, back in the village, both Tatsu and Sasuke had been looking for Kakashi. He had planned to take them to the training grounds. Sasuke wanted to work a little more on his Kenjutsu, and Tatsu was willing to help him in exchange for a little help with her ninjutsu. But when they came to contact with Kakashi, they found him lying almost in a comatose in the hospital, and they quickly overheard the reason for it. Itachi Uchiha. Hearing that name, and then hearing who he was after, it caused Sasuke to panic. So much so that his wings sprouted from his back as he flew into the sky and headed directly to where his friends were, with Tatsu following close behind on foot, although Sasuke would get there long before she did. In the meantime, Naruto and Corey, two members of Team 7, left alone inside of the hotel room, the two would converse about what they had been through since they had last seen each other. So, Naruto, I'm really sorry. What? I'm sorry. It's my fault. I should have been better. You died, almost died because of, I'm, I'm a, I'm a Rorfian Zubgar. A what? I don't know. It's a word I made up when I was little. It's something for stupid. I feel stupid. Really, really stupid. I mean, I'm happy you're alive, and I don't blame you, Corey. It's not about that. You shouldn't have to die. And you shouldn't have to live the way you did. If anyone should be sorry, it's me. My mom, especially my dad, he wanted me to tell you sorry about making you the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. You didn't deserve that either. I don't blame them. I mean, you could have just as easily have been the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. It was just a chance of fate, that's all. Besides, I'm the outsider. It would make sense that I would be branded with a... You're not an outsider. Corey, you're a shinobi of the Hidden Leaf Village. You're a part of our family. Nothing is ever going to change about that. We're comrades, right? We protect one another. We fight together, no matter what. I'll gladly lay my life on the line for you because I know you would do the same for me. Although, if it's all the same to you, I kind of want us to keep living. So, let's not die anytime soon, all right? The two would smile happily at one another as they heard a knock on the door. Who the heck could that be? Who knows? It's probably that damn pervert, Corey said as she relaxed on the bed, Naruto going to open the door. Hi, can I... Naruto was greeted by 3 individuals. The tallest one with blue skin and shark-like scales and sharp teeth, with a large bandaged sword on his back. The second, eyes glaring with the Sharingan. He looked like an older Sasuke. But it was the third. It was the third one that made his heart sink. Haku. Naruto, it's been a while. Why are you... Naruto, we're not after you. And we have no means of harming you. But if you get in our way, we will do what we must. Now I'm going to ask you something. And I implore you not to lie to me. Where is Corey? This concludes Naruto King of the Beasts. What if Naruto was Swamp Thing? Season 2, Part 7. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is Power Core Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned this Friday evening as we conclude Naruto King of the Beast. What if Naruto was Swamp Thing? Season 2, Part 8, the Season 2 finale. And technically, you could say that this is the wrap-up of Part 1 of the Naruto edition of What If Naruto Was Swamp Thing. As the next time this series returns, we will delve into the Shippuden part of the series. So stay tuned this Friday for the Season 2 finale of Naruto, King of the Beast, What If Naruto Was Swamp Thing, Season 2, Part 8, the Season 2 finale. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with Power Core Productions and Podcastings. Signing off. and I'll see you next time.